Hello, I'm David Holm. I'd like to welcome you to Family Talks. We have a very special guest with us this morning. Frank Miller is the Director of Operations at Parchment Valley Conference Center outside of Ripley in Jackson County. And Frank, we welcome you today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, Pastor David.
Hey, Brothers Keeper is something that you are really passionate about. And Brothers Keeper celebrated its 20th anniversary this year. But for some folks who may not know about Brothers Keeper, tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yes, sir. Brothers Keeper, my goodness. Brothers Keeper was initially implemented to build a bridge in the community of Jackson County and connect Parchment Valley Conference Center in a ministry role to go out in the community and help those folks that were in need of home repairs and such, but more importantly, to share the gospel with them.
That's wonderful ministry, and a lot of fruit has come from that ministry. Now, this summer, the pandemic didn't shut you down, but it certainly altered the way that you had to do things. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. This was a challenging year, as you know that very well. Brothers Keeper 2020, this was the year. This was the year of a tremendous celebration. Man, we had so many things in line, planned, and so many people involved to do a huge impact in ministry in Jackson County. And then the pandemic hit. We did have a couple folks that said, we'll cancel BK 2020. And at that point, the theme for this year, Mark 12:31, really drove home the opportunity to be our brother's keeper, to love our neighbors. And from that, we just trusted the Lord to open doors. And man, we stood out of the way, and did he open some mighty doors for Brothers Keeper 2020.
Now, you did BK in a box, is that right?
Well, that's actually a Cowan Camp in the Box. We did BK at home. BK
at home, that's right.
At home.
That's right. So, one of the things that I have always appreciated about you is your ability to put everything in a wonderful spiritual context, because the purpose of Brothers Keeper is not just to go out and to do physical work, but it's to do spiritual work. And you always have a wonderful story about someone's life who's been touched by Brothers Keeper. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I would be honored to. And let me begin by backing up. In 2019, an incredible year of Brothers Keeper, 150 youth and adult leaders canvassed the community, 60 projects completed. But what we saw was, spiritually speaking, these empowered youth. And we have some wonderful youth in the West Virginia Baptist Convention. And I'll tell you, through the great leadership of grooming those folks to be disciples, they were empowered to go out, and you've heard the story there, David, where we went into the man's home with his complete array, and he was hopeless, lost his wife, lost nearly his home, a broken leg, and completely hopeless. We went out, and those kids built him a ramp and a porch and remodeled his home, worked late, and we were able to lead him to the Lord. And we're still celebrating that. And shortly thereafter, Mr. Casto passed away. But what we experienced, and if I may tell you about this year, the impact of BK 2020, BK at home, where we had over 1,000 folks doing Brothers Keeper in their own community. My family, who is in Madrid, Spain, we're out helping their neighbors during the pandemic in Madrid, Spain. It's pretty cool with the mask on and gloves. And you know what? Showing love to the neighbor. Here's what we experienced this year. We had a very difficult situation. Wow. A young man from the local community graduated high school and went to the beach, and he drowned. It impacted this community in such a harsh way, and hearts were broken. I had one of our Good Hope Association churches call me and said, "Hey, Frank, listen, we're trying to do some BK at home," he said, "and I know this is different this year, outside the box, and as you're doing not only physical work but spiritual work," he said, "could we use some money to go and help that family with funeral expenses?" And you know what? We were able to raise several $100s and give to the church that presented to the family and show Christ's love and compassion. And let me share this. I was in one of our churches, New England Baptist Church, and they sent a team last year. They were out in the community, and I recognized them during the sermon. A couple of young ladies that took some teenage girls and boys out in the community and did repair work. And I was thanking them for their service, and just very humbly they said, well, Frank, Brothers Keeper trained us. And oh, by the way, the church has implemented this project that we're going to continue every week to go out into the community and be our Brothers Keeper. So that's just the impact that the Lord has on our hearts and on this ministry, where we really are seeing lives being changed.
That's amazing, and we really appreciate your leadership and the leadership of so many who work with Brothers Keeper, and it's just an amazing ministry with great opportunities. That being said, what does the future look like for Brothers Keeper, and how can churches and individuals get involved?
I'm afraid to talk about the future. We hope the Lord comes soon. We know He is. But we are excited. I know, pandemic, and what a great time. As our brother Todd said, this is a great time to do ministry in a pandemic. And we are excited. And BK projects are still rolling for BK at home, so that's a great thing. But we're excited about Brothers Keeper 2021. And we're developing the theme now. But let me back up what you just said. It takes a lot of great dedicated people to pull Brothers Keeper off. And I could name so many people that are involved with that. But we're planning for June 21st to 26th that we can reassemble there at Parchment Valley and gather and do God's work as He has planned for us to do. What does that look like for BK 2021? Well, it looks like this. It looks like we need your help. We need your prayers. We need your support. And we do appreciate the support we have from the West Virginia Baptist Convention and many friends outside the box that make BK a reality. I would ask you to go to our YouTube page, go to brotherskeeperwv.org, and look at this year's celebrations every night. We had dynamic speakers, celebrations, testimonies, talk to folks that were there in the beginning with Brothers Keeper. So we would ask for your support. This year, we sold some T-shirts, and one of the groups had 30 kids involved in Ohio and said, hey, wow, that's a big chunk of money. What happened from that? We had a local business owner that called me and said, Frank, listen, don't sell those kids a shirt. Let me pay for it. So it's just that kind of support that we're grateful for. We know the Lord will provide. There's work to do, and there's souls to be saved for the kingdom. So I just want to say, David, thank you for your support, and pray for Brothers Keeper 2021 that will continue to see God to do great things in people's lives.
Frank, thank you so much for being with us today, and just pray that God's going to continue to do a great work through you. And we'd like to thank all of you for joining us for Family Talks. See you next week.